Rendell you were talking trash to for the first snap?
Who isn't, getting a little bit of that trash talk out there, really. But yeah, me and Jake it's always a one-on-one battle every day with me and him. Who can beat who can get to point A to point B quicker, so love competing against Jake every day.
How good was it to see Dre?
I mean, it's good. I've been seeing him all off season, him doing his rehab here, me training here. So I've been following him along, keeping the spirits high. He's been doing great. Rehab's going amazing. So it's good to see him out there, throw the ball around a little bit. It's fun.
Concerning at all to not see Trent Williams out there today?
Of course. I mean, shoot, that's one of our best players, one of our leaders, But we understand the business side of it. This is our first rodeo. This is a curse and a blessing to have this many great players part of our team. And so, we'll get it figured out.
You've seen Eric be asked to take a pay cut, didn't get cut. Juszczyk got a pay cut. Do you guys, does that kind of give an alert throughout the locker room that finances are getting a little tight in there?
No, I wouldn't say so. We don't focus on those things. As players, we just focus on being the best version of ourselves. Every year it's different. The team's different. Even though you want to, believe that, the team is as similar as it was the year before or the year before that, it's always a new team every single year. You got your core players, but I mean, it's always a new team. You got to. This is the time during training camp to really, bond the team together and bring the new guys along. Guys who've been here, continuing to set the standard and uphold it. So we're not worried about any of that other stuff.
It's only been one practice, but you were really excited about D. Winters and how he was during OTAs. How do you look today?
It's a little different when you're actually out there running around versus just being on the sideline watching. So I got to watch the tape. But, I mean, like I said before, super excited about D, and his progress as a player, going from year one to year two. That's always when, you want to see a player take that jump in their game. And he's setting himself up great to continue to make that step.
Patrick Willis getting inducted next week into the Hall of Fame as a fellow linebacker. What sort of stood out about the way he played the game?
One of the best to ever do it. When you talk about linebacker play, you're always going to talk about the way that it's supposed to be, the game's supposed to be played at that position, and he did it through and through with the tenacity, the speed, the violence. You talk about what the league has kind of evolved into and linebackers who can do it all and who run the 4.4. I mean, I don't run 4.4, but he ran 4.4. And so, that type of linebacker playing with that speed, that violence, the physicality that you want to see, he did it at such a high level here, and that's what I'm always chasing. I'm so happy for him getting that gold jacket, super well deserved.
Kittle was touting Sorensen yesterday, and I know you're a fan of Sorensen. Why is Nick the right guy for this job right now?
I feel like he's just taking the right steps. He came in, was super humble, obviously played the game for a really long time, really smart cat. But just because you play the game for a long time doesn't mean you automatically translate into a great coach. But the ones that I've seen who've been great, like the D'Amico Ryans of the world, are guys who can teach the game, right? And so who can also stand in front of a group of men and command the room. And we saw that with how he did the ball meet in front of the team, and he's just been such a knowledgeable guy to learn from myself, having him a part of the group. And so when he got the elevation to be in DC, I knew it was going to be a perfect fit, and I'm really excited to have him leading our group.
Does Brock look bulked up to you from the Super Bowl?
Yeah. I'm just kidding. I don't know. Yeah, sure. Yeah, he's looking like a third-year veteran. You know what I'm saying? He's carrying himself with that confidence, man. And I'm super excited for Brock, obviously having the full off season to get better, and being the guy. He knows that. So I'm, super excited for Brock.
Run defense wasn't up to the team standard last year. Is that a point of emphasis this year, and how's it looking so far?
Yeah, man, I feel like there's a bunch of different areas that we can improve from last season, run defense being one of them. And, I feel like the great thing about training camp is you got to continue to stack days. Not one day is not going to define you in a training camp practice, but you got to continue to see where, things went wrong in a day or what you can do better and correct your mistakes. I mean, that's how you continue to grow as a player and as a defense, as a group, as a team, is continuing to grow and strive to get better every single day.
Yeah, you are among a handful of guys who've gone through every single of these recent excruciating playoff losses. At any point during that, have you ever said, I don't know if we're ever going to win a Super Bowl?
Nah. I understand the question, but it's like, I talk about it often. It's one of those things where you can't go into a year thinking like, damn, like I hope we can make that next step, right? Like you go into it, you want to obviously give yourself a chance to begin with the type of players that you're bringing onto the team. You want to instill a culture within that team, to be able to even make it to the tournament. And then once you get there, you want to play the best football you can in order to give yourself a chance to win that game, right? And it's only one game. This isn't the NBA Finals where you get 7 chances. Like, you got one game to play at your best, and every single rep in that game counts, right? So, I mean, the last thing on our mind is just making it back there. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're trying to put together the best team possible for when, if and when that moment does come, we got to be the best version of ourselves when we get there.
And
you talked about it in the past, kind of that climb, what it takes to get back to that point. Does it, because you've done it so many times, does it feel more daunting, or is it like, hey, at least I know what it takes to get there? Like, how do you kind of reconcile that?
Yeah, I mean, it's brutal. I'll be honest, just complete honesty. It's brutal because, like, in order to get to where you want to go, like this part right here that we're in, it's got to suck. That's point blank, period. Like, it's got to hurt. It's got to suck. If it doesn't, that means you're not doing it hard enough. You're not doing it right, especially the way that we do it here with the 49ers. Like, it's got to be physical. You're going to be tired. And, and you do that every single day for a long period of time, and you build a callus and you continue to strive as a group to be the best version of yourselves. And I know if we're doing that better than all the other 32 teams, then I think we're going to give ourselves the best chance to win games on Sundays.
working with your position group, was it good to see Ronald Blair out there?
Oh yeah, man. I seen Blairo yesterday. I said, man, congrats, getting the spot and being on the team. So it's so great to have him. I know he's going to help the group a lot.
What do they bring to the coaching staff?
Just energy. Being a young guy and being so knowledgeable about the game. I remember Coach Sala. He loved Ronald as a player just because of what he could do mentally, being able to do it all, doing things the right way. And I think he can help a lot of the young guys and even some of the veterans to continue to strive to be their best self.
I know you've had moments in the offseason where, obviously a presence like Eric Armstead isn't here anymore, but being that today's the first day of training camp, do you kind of feel that void there?
No, I mean, like I said before, the team's different every year. I love Eric to death, man. He was a huge part of what we did. Obviously, he was a Niner through and through in the way that he did things. He's moved on to Jacksonville, and so we got to obviously continue to strive to progress, as a group on defense, obviously in that D-line room. But guys step up every single year, and take on new roles. And, I don't got to do anything different on my side. I just do what I do. But I'm really excited about that D-line group and who we have.
Rock, how concerning was it not seeing Trent out there today?
Man, it's first day camp. I know he's dealing with some contract stuff, but, for me, I got to go out there and lead the boys in the first day. Obviously this is a long process in terms of like camp, and we got time and all that. So, but for me, my mindset was go out, do my job today, and try to bring some energy to our offense, and that's where my focus was at.
It's been asked a few times if you're a bit bulkier this season or this off season coming in. How have you just kind of prepared coming to this season rather than prepared last season coming off injury?
Yeah, I mean, last year a lot of it was, rehabbing my arm and trying to get my arm healthy while trying to work out and stuff as well. So I feel like this year I actually had some time to, work on my craft and my body and stuff. But, I feel like it's really just like anybody else too in terms of off season right before camp starts. Everyone, gets after it and tries to get in like the best shape as they can. So that's what I did. I think for me moving forward, it's like, how can I maintain that strength and all that throughout the season? And it's a grind. I mean, we're going to be practicing, 3 days in a row. So I got to just, stay on it and feel good. But went down to Jacksonville. My guys got me right, and I'm excited. So.
You are bigger or about
probably a couple pounds heavier, but I think feeling good and not just trying to put on weight, but good weight, that's right, and still being able to move around and be quick and things like that. Like, that's all part of my game, and I didn't want to just bulk up and try to gain as much weight as I can. I was smart about it, so I still got to move and throw well.
Established to the point now where you may take training camp a little differently, and that maybe the first couple of years I got to be efficient, I got to do the real efficient thing, whereas now that you're the guy, now it's maybe I'm going to try this and see if it works.
I think there's a balance to that. because that is how we have success here as, as 49er quarterbacks. It's being efficient, making the right decisions over and over and over again. Trying to be a superhero and make all these different kind of throws and stuff. Like, that's not how we're coached. That's not how we win games here. So we're going to practice how we play and how we try to win. And last year, there's some throws and stuff that you try out in camp and it may go well, may not. Same thing this year. But I think overall, more than anything, it's how can I be the most efficient quarterback at practice so that when we get into the game situations, nothing changes. My mindset's not different. I want to play just how I practice. So that's our mindset.
You were gaining velocity on your passes coming out of Iowa State into your rookie season. Has that continued? Were you able to make any gains in that regard this offseason?
I think so. Just like little mechanical things down in Jacksonville that we worked on and honed in on, just in terms of being an efficient thrower. There's a guy that comes in and does like the 3D motion capture stuff, and we look at my mechanics and try to apply it to my on-field training and get more power out of my hips and all the stuff that goes into it. But I was down there for a good month, and so we were actually able to chip away at some things where last year I was there for a couple weeks. It was more about my elbow rehab, and then I'd come back here early. So I got some good time away to work on it, and I do feel like I got better just with my arm mobility and strength. But like I said earlier, that's something that I have to maintain as we go. So
Is that mostly lower body when you're adding velocity, miles per hour? Is it?
I think both. Yeah, both. Just like the physical training part of it, and then tying it back into your hips and your shoulder being tied together, the sequencing of throwing. I think all of those things together have allowed me to get a little bit more velo on the throws and stuff. So.
Well, is there a play from the Super Bowl that still gnaws at you?
Yeah. I mean, there's a couple plays I'd say that think back on and wish, dang it, So, yeah.
Could you tell us one of them?
I think that third down, that got tipped. We ran double slants. That's one of them that comes up towards the end of the game. There's that one. I think earlier on there was like a second down play that I could have hit Ayuk on a window pretty quick, and it just happened and it closed quickly. So those are the kinds of plays that run through my mind when I think about the Super Bowl and like how can I take my game to the next level. Is those kind of plays, capitalizing on those plays. So, yeah.
Just the uninitiated. Yeah, sorry, man. Please shut up. No, but to the uninitiated, it was like the one that got tipped that you referred to first. It's like, wow, what was he going to do? But when you obviously hindsight's 20/20, but if you can do it over, what should you have done?
In that play, Ayuk in the slot. I think if I was quick enough with my feet and got the ball out. That play, we're thinking read it inside out, and I'm thinking JJ, third down, like JJ's had a great game. And then Ayuk actually popped with a guy blitzing free. So it's in those moments right before it happens, how can I see it clearly, still stick to my fundamentals of reading that play inside out, not just getting to the outside read. And so it's those plays and those moments, that's situational football. That's where I can grow. And so that's what I mean by, like, there's certain plays like that where I'm like, dang.
That is motivation versus driving yourself insane by thinking about it too much.
Yeah, I mean that's a sport and that's the world that we live in. Just in terms of playing a professional sport, we're not going to be perfect. You're not going to make every single play. You get to the highest stage, playing the Super Bowl, and there's a crucial play like that. You're hard on yourself. We're professional. Like, we want to compete and be the best, and we want to be perfect, but that's just the nature of it, man. You're gonna come up short sometimes, but I think the best separate themselves by going and experiencing those things and then being able to learn from them and make change. Not do those same mistakes over, but actually make change and be ready for the moment that comes again.
Brock, how excited are you to have the vertical threats this year? Cowling, Gray, maybe even Willis.
Yeah, I'm really excited. Just being able to have some boys that can go downfield and give them a shot. And I think for them, it's coming to practice every day, being consistent, building that trust that we have to, with those young guys especially. So that's what, I think these first couple weeks of practice at camp are like, all right, let's give those young guys an opportunity with some looks and going deep and see what they can do with it. But on air, man, they can fly and they can do it. And so we just got to connect on 11 on 11 and continue to build that trust. So I'm excited for them.
the benefits yet of having a true off season? This is your first true off season where you've been able to participate the whole time going into a season.
Yeah, I mean, exactly that. I got OTAs, I got those reps, just able to build the relationship with the new guys that came in, and then go away for the summer and continue to get better at my craft and build off of the reps that I had in OTAs and actually able to watch all the games from last year with Shanahan and Greasy and now being at camp, like, feels good. Like, I feel, ready to roll and excited, just based off of the growth that I've had this offseason. So I'm nowhere near perfect, but I know I can continue to grow and be better, and I need to be better for this team. So that's how I look at it, but definitely excited, not coming off a UCL again. So
Did this day one feel smoother?
I'd say so, but I mean, there's still some rust. We can all feel it, timing and routes, leading receivers, play calls, getting in and out of the huddle. But for a day one, I didn't think it was too bad.
Tight ends in the room. Your first throw today went to Sahlberg. Did you feel that you built some rapport already with him in OTAs, and how is it going with the tight end room in particular?
Yeah, I think the way he came in for OTAs and we started throwing pretty early with him and learning how he moves and how he sees things and then coming in and being ready to roll for camp, like, he made a great play today. So that's something that we're going to continue to have to build off of and get after together. But I'm really excited for him and Braden Willis and his opportunity and obviously George. So it's a great room. I know George is doing a great job with leading all those boys and some young guys and new faces coming in. But having Logan Thomas come in as well and his just veteran presence, like, it's gonna be a solid room. So obviously we got camp for all those boys to showcase and see what they can do and who's going to step up. But I'm excited to work with them all and throw them the ball.
I imagine the highlight of your offseason was your wedding. What stands out to you about that day? Everyone says it's a blur. What do you remember about your wedding day?
Man, it went so fast, but I mean, we had just all the best people, like the closest people in our life, be there for us in one day. And so it was a pretty special moment to be able to go through that whole season last year of football and Super Bowl and the craziness and coming back from surgery to then marrying my best friend. Like, it was crazy. That was the best day of the year for me. And looking back on it, man, like, we're just so thankful for everyone in our life. But to come together as one with my wife and my best friend was nothing better.
Games that this team has played the past few years and all the disappointment it's experienced coming so close to achieving the final goal and not getting it. How do you, as a leader, make sure this team maintains that fire and doesn't burn out? Yeah,
I mean, we've all just been there, dude. Like, we've tasted it. Obviously, the Super Bowl, it's a couple plays away from literally being Super Bowl champions. The year before that, NFC Championship. The year before that, NFC. So, like, we have guys in this locker room that taste it and they want it. And coming back, it was a heartbreak, man, losing that Super Bowl and the way we did it, the overtime, all that, and how badly we want it for this fan base and this organization, man. Like, we want it. And but coming back from, like, OTAs and then obviously now with camp, with having all the guys back, just the way Fred's acting, George, Juice, like, these guys that have been in the league for a while, man, they're back ready, like, hungry. And I'm going in my year 3, so I'm hungry. But I did the same thing. I walked in, I'm like, how are these guys gonna, like, seem or feel? And you could feel it, man. They're hungry for it, and we're ready to do it for this organization and the fan base.